Hello everyone, Curious Corduroy here, and it looks like we could be getting some new information from Sony next week, possibly in the form of a state of play, showcasing some new hardware in regards to controllers and accessories. This news comes to us from Tom Henderson of Tryhard Guides, saying that Sony is working on a Pro-style PlayStation 5 controller. The controller is codenamed Hunt and rumored to keep the style of the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, but have fully removable analog sticks, trigger stops, rear paddles, and removable grips. It is said that photos of the controller prototype were shared along with that information under the condition that the photo is not published and the leaker remains anonymous. So this sounds like it might be something in the vein of an Xbox Elite controller. Now, I'm not a big fan of the PS5 DualSense controller. It's not terrible, however, it's just too big in my opinion. That's what she said. So it's not the most comfortable controller to hold for long gaming sessions. The DualSense features themselves are really cool. Games like Horizon Forbidden West really utilize the triggers and the microphone in the controller really well, but I miss that PS4 style controller. That to me I think was the perfect in between of an Xbox 360, an Xbox One controller, as well as a PS5 controller. That PS4 controller, the DualShock was just perfect and it was the right size and it was comfortable to hold and use. So unfortunately, it looks like the new Pro controller will still have that DualSense style to it. Website 91 Mobiles has also revealed a new lineup of PlayStation branded headphones, those being the InZone H9, H7, and H3. All three headphones will include 360 spatial sound for gaming. The H3 will be wired while the H7 and H9 will be wireless, with the H9 being the only headset of the group to have noise canceling capabilities. All three headsets will have USB-C connections and come with any necessary adapters for connecting to a PC. Tom also mentions on Twitter that further evidence of a possible state of play next week include an update on Gran Turismo that is slated for next week, as well as Jason Schreier mentioning that God of War Ragnarok will have its release date revealed later this month, and the Sony hardware reveals we just mentioned. As for a PS5 Pro, I would not expect to see one of those yet, but stranger things have happened. If anything, we could see a slightly redesigned PS5 that could have a thinner and smaller heatsink in it that could allow for a slightly slimmer console, but I wouldn't expect that until sometime further in the future. Granted, this is assuming we do get a state of play next week. As always, you have to take this information with a grain of salt, because for all we know, this is just information that Sony will put out on social media. And in our last little bit of news, last week Capcom released the next-gen versions of Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Resident Evil 3 Remake. That's a new one, but unfortunately, some of those versions were having issues. In fact, Resident Evil 2 on PC in particular had to have its original version restored, and the console versions you can always just keep the PS4 or Xbox One versions installed, but from personal experience, I was having issues with Resident Evil 2 Remake on my PlayStation 5. Now, some of the new features included ray tracing, higher frame rates, 4K resolution, and 3D audio, but my issues with Resident Evil 2 Remake are kind of weird. Options like higher frame rate not being choosable, I can't change it at all. Enabling ray tracing makes the frame rate take a pretty big dip, which should not be happening. That game was really smooth playing the PS4 version on a PS5, and with ray tracing enabled, it just sinks that frame rate down. Another issue that you might be able to see in the footage that I've captured is that there's this really weird halo ghosting effect around Leon's character model. Outside in the gas station is where it's most apparent. I don't think it's caused by the rain, but I think it could be an issue with the ray tracing causing some weird lighting issues. Now, for me personally, a game like Resident Evil 2, in my opinion, doesn't need ray tracing. It doesn't really benefit from it. Most of its environments are small, darkly lit corridors, so you're not really taking full advantage of bright lights or flashing lights or anything like that. However, Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I haven't tested the PS5 version just yet, that one I think would really greatly benefit from ray tracing. You spend a lot of time in that game in larger environments that have a lot of lights that are multicolored. Most of the environments are better lit than Resident Evil 2 just based on the location. So I think something like Resident Evil 3 probably would benefit more from that ray tracing functionality. However, here's hoping that Capcom can go back to the drawing board and kind of figure out what's causing these issues to happen in the first place. I know that ray tracing is a really graphic intensive thing, but we're playing a PS4 game that's been upgraded to PS5. The hardware on that, as well as the hardware on the series consoles and PC, should be able to handle that no problem. So hopefully they get that fixed in the near future, because I really want to go back and experience these games with those ray tracing effects and higher frame rates without any issues. So I am Curious Corduroy. That is the video, everyone. Leave your thoughts in the comments below on anything that we talked about today. Do you think we are going to get a state of play next week? And if so, what do you expect to see? And have you experienced the Resident Evil issues with the next gen versions of those games? As always, I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.